in a moment.
Yeah, it's nice to have and start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, now we'll start with our mega statement read by our student representatives.
All students will graduate prepared with the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and behaviors necessary to achieve their personal goals and make a positive impact in the world.
All right, thank you, Ms. Johnson. And which one of you has the student representative report this time?
Both of us.
Tag team.
Have at it.
Good evening, board members and community members. We're excited to share what's happening across our district.
At our elementary schools, December has been full of holiday spirit and community giving. Students are participating in 5th grade volleyball tournaments, holiday concerts, and festive dress-up days. What really stands out is how the youngest Cardinals are learning to give back. At Homestead, a pennyworth raised are $1,100 for Spirit Week, and 2 Chi-High students organized a canned food drive there. Jim Falls collected 363 pounds of food donations. Southview's Pennyworth raised over $700 for service members, and 3rd graders at Parkview collected hats, gloves, and mittens for holiday community members. Holiday stores at every building let students shop for gifts to give their families.
On the academic side, elementary teachers just wrapped up mid-year literacy assessments, and principals are reporting nice gains in reading scores. Parkview is also launching One School, One Read in January, where every student will receive the same book to read together as a school community. Our elementary buildings continue their conscious discipline work, with Parkview launching a new program called Parkview Pals in January that will connect students across grade levels for monthly activities.
At middle school, Mr. Koonsman shared some exciting news. CFMS improved in every category on the state report card this year. Overall achievement went up over 12 points, and growth scores climbed more than 12 points as well. That marks 6 consecutive years that our middle school has met or exceeded state averages in both reading and math. Beyond academics, students reported feeling more connected to the adults in their building on the panorama screener, and attendance is running at 95.4%, above the state average. The winter concerts for band, orchestra, and choir packed the house on 3 separate nights, showing the strength of our music groups.
Over at Chippewa Valley High School, 5 students have successfully graduated this year. Students there are preparing for JAG mock interviews, and 2 will present at the JAG Spotlight in Stanley Boyd. At Chi-High, our attendance rate is above 94%, which is almost 2 points higher than the state average, and our seniors are leading the way. The Birdcage School Store donated over $3,300 to student clubs during the first quarter. 3 of our Green Team seniors, including Chloe, had the honor of giving the keynote address at the State Environmental Education Convention. Our clubs are active. FBLA hosted a shoe drive and holiday stroll at Irvine Park. HOSA decorated at River Pines. Student Council is bringing back Candygrams, and we even have a new SCOTUS mock club where students analyze Supreme Court cases.
In performing arts, our band had the unique opportunity to perform with the UW-Eau Claire University Band at Gantner's Concert Hall, and our orchestra just performed at a nearly sold-out Tort Theater event at the Heidi Center. Winter sports are underway, and the boys basketball team opened a strong win over at Medford to start their season. Our gymnastics team placed second in the Big Rivers Conference, with Jocelyn Davis taking first on the balance beam and Peyton Grunwald winning the uneven bars. Across every building, our students are learning, serving their communities, and showing Cardinal pride. Thank you.
All right, board members have any questions for our representatives? All right, thank you. You guys know that this is the second favorite part, right, of our meeting. You know what our first part is, right? It's what's next, and I only say that because no one signed up for public comment, because what's and getting to see what our kids are doing at the younger levels. All right, thank you very much for your presentation. And I do believe that it's still accurate that no one has signed up. Okay, then we can move on to 5.01, which is Parkview Elementary School.
So thank you for having us here tonight. I'm Jill Alexander, and I am the principal at Parkview, and I brought a couple of people with me that will come and introduce themselves as well.
I'm Gina Galeazzi. I'm one of the Title I teachers at Parkview.
Dawn Totsky, Library Media Specialist at Parkview and Jim Falls.
And we have Miley and Jack with us as well.
You'll get to meet them in a little bit.
So tonight we're taking you on our literacy journey as a student at Parkview. There's a lot of information in our slides that we've shared with you, and we're going to give you just an overview tonight. Our students, we have 339 students with very engaged families and parents. Our staff members are very, very supportive of our students and have a deep level of caring. And we pride ourselves on very good relationships in our school. The first part of literacy we'll share with you is about wit and wisdom. We're in year 4, and wit and wisdom involves 4 pieces: writing, listening, reading, and speaking. In kindergarten, our students are learning about fun on the farm right now. They're learning to actually write sentences. As you'll see, chicken scratch with their feet, written there by a student, and the books, fiction and nonfiction, that go with that unit. First graders are working on creature features, and you can see that in reading we also use manipulatives. They're writing 4-sentence informative paragraphs about Jane Goodall. In second grade, westward expansion is the study, and they are learning about how Native American settlers and the government impacted the prairies in the American West. And you can see some writing samples there. The interesting thing in this slide is if you look at the brown Post-it note there, the students get continuous feedback from teachers, and they write out their own notes on the Post-it rather than the teacher writing the notes, as traditionally was done years ago. So they take their own notes and they write their own revisions. Third grade is learning about how people learn. So they learned about how do people study the sea and how do people study space through fiction and nonfiction pieces. Fourth grade is studying how an extreme setting can change a character, reading Hatchet by Gary Paulson, and also followed up with some nonfiction pieces as well, including the book about mountains. And fifth grade is studying wordplay with the Phantom Toll Booth. So if you know Who's on First by Abbott and Costello, that's wordplay. So there's a sample there written by one of our students, and they have speaking, writing, reading, and listening goals that they follow. Functional phonics and morphology, we're in year 1 of that. And functional phonics is for grades K through 2, where they learn about letter sounds, relationships, and patterns. In morphology in grades 3 through 5, they focus on root words, affixes, phonics integration, spelling, and vocabulary. Kindergarten looks like this, where they're studying accuracy and fluency of letters and sounds, writing sentences as well. First and second grade focuses on tapping out word sounds and learning how to read words and practicing fluency. Third through fifth, as you can see, is focusing on morphemes, where they're taking words apart and learning about each part of the word and what it means, and then putting that together to form words and learn spelling and larger vocabulary words. What we love about functional phonics and morphology is that it allows students to set their own goals, and they also learn to self-assess daily. So our teachers are really enjoying using the program, and we found it to provide a good amount of growth. In our data, I'm going to turn this over to Gina.
Yeah, so we just finished K3 did their literacy assessments as part of Act 20 with Ames Web Plus. So these are some of our scores, our average score for the fall, our average score for the winter, and then you can see the increase for each grade level. Kindergarten, their composite looks at letter name and letter sound. First grade, they look at their oral reading fluency, their nonsense words, and then their word reading. And then second and third grade look just at their oral reading fluency, which is taking a passage. They have 1 minute to read it, and we mark the words that they get right and wrong. So you can kind of see we had some nice increases, especially at our first grade level. And then our 4th and 5th grade, they will be doing assessments we come back from winter break in Fastbridge. So right now, this is just the fall data that we have up, but then we'll look at the winter data and be able to see what kind of increases we saw there. The two main literacy tests they take, A reading is just a general overall looking at various reading skills, fluency, comprehension, vocabulary, the ability to decode, and then that CBM is looking at that oral reading fluency. So, and then with that data, we were able to get together with our K-3 teachers today to see what kind of shifts we needed to make within our teaching and within like our intervention groups to see what kind of supports kids needed. And then we'll do the same thing with 4th and 5th grade in January.
I've got to interject for just a moment. I want to thank y'all. My observations for this year have been in numerous elementary schools, and the work that you've just shown the board is indicative of the progress that I'm seeing being made by our staff members in terms of their delivery. I am so proud of the elementary staff in those classrooms, and knowing the amount of work that the instructors do and the training that they did and then applying it in the classrooms. Y'all took Act 20 to heart, and the data that you just shown is showing amazing results. And I, for one, greatly appreciate it. This is fantastic.
So where does literacy fit into a portrait of a graduate? We are helping our students become continuous learners, so connecting literacy across all areas. This is an example of how we're bringing literacy into music classes. That's one of our new goals this year, is looking at how to bring literacy support into music, art, and Phi Ed, and also into counseling. Is there any way to play that few seconds of that video? So this video shows students where they made their first compositions in music, and they are tapping out the sounds and the syllables like they do in literacy classes, but they used Halloween words to make their own first musical composition with rhythms related to what they're learning in literacy classes.
Ready, go. Ghost, pumpkin, bat, spider. Ready, go. Bat, pumpkin, ghost, spider. Pumpkin, bat, ghost, spider.
That's probably enough. You can stop.
Bat.
So it goes on for 2.5 minutes. So I will let you look at that if you're interested. I know you have a copy of it, but that's just one way that we're bringing this into literacy into all areas. So another way we're looking at Portrait of a Graduate as a Resilient Thinker is by using IXL. So IXL is a new program that we're piloting district-wide, and it allows students personalized learning at their own level, at their own pace. It's been working extremely well to give us another data point too. We also focus on being an effective communicator, not only in reading and writing, but in nonverbal expression. And as a problem solver, we allow students to discover texts as being both mirrors and windows. For engaged citizens, we have Battle of the Books, and I will let Mrs. Totsky turn over with this one.
Thank you for letting us come tonight. Battle of the Books is a treasure to my heart. The statewide committee puts together all the information that we need to do it, and every school in our district has participated. So sometimes we even battle between the buildings, things like that. What Battle of the Books is a program to encourage students to read, to love reading, to read things they might not have otherwise read. So they gather in groups of 2 to 4 students. They form teams and read the same list of 20 books across the state. So the state battle will be in February this year, and I brought along 2 of my battlers this year who can stand up now. And one of the things I asked them to prepare for you is just a quick sentence saying why they wanted to join battle, what they like about battle. Jack, do you want to go first?
I joined Battle because it gives me good recommendations for books that I might have not otherwise read, and they're very good books. And I was going to say something else.
That's okay.
What did I say?
We'll let Miley go and then you can, if you remember, you can say it.
I joined Battle to get better on my reading.
I thought that was a really good reason.
Yeah. The books that I read help, and like the questions, like it makes me think more about the books, and I feel more engaged with what I'm reading.
So the students write practice questions as well, but I do have a couple in my pocket right here. Did any of you see the note ahead of time and read any of the picture books? Okay, if you get a chance, part of why I included that slide is just to showcase the electronic opportunities that we have for students to access media when they're not in the building. So we have some ebooks for all of these as well. So they've read all 5 of the picture books. And I'm gonna ask a question. You shout it out when you know it. Okay? So a battle goes something like this. Which question should I pick? In which book is a character able to hear people but can't understand what they are saying?
Gibberish by Young Bo.
Yeah. Ha, together they got it. So you get a point for having the title, you get a point for having the author. So this is a fabulous team right here. Do you want to try one more?
Sure.
Okay. In which book is a troll asked to keep his paws off someone's hat?
3 Billy Goat Gruff by.
Incorrect. That's why I did that one, because there's a goat in 2 books. A troll. It was a trick question. I like trick questions. Can you think of another one that had a troll in it? Vlad, the fabulous vampire. The troll's trying to get his hat when he's all dressing up fancy.
Oh.
So that's how a battle works, and we work together, and all of our teams battle, and our top team gets to go to the state competition in February, which is done online. We don't travel anywhere. Do you have any questions about Battle of the Books?
No, but I have a comment about the 2 students. It's very brave of you to come in front of the board and to talk about those things. And again, as much as I appreciate what the teachers do, I appreciate what you do. When I've been in your classrooms, one of the things that I've noticed too at the elementary level is how excited you are to learn. And I would say that you're indicative of most of our students now, particularly at the elementary level. You are wonderful to have in the classroom and greatly appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
All right, I know your mom wanted a quick picture. You guys can keep going.
I just have, for Miley, yeah, Miley, you have got that little glint in your eyes that tells me that you like to compete and maybe beat people on these things.
Miley, could you ask Mr. Check a math question?
Jack's amazing at math. I bet. Oh.
Jack's are.
Yep.
Jack and Miley, have you guys done battle before, or is this your first time?
First time.
Miley's a 4th grader, and Jack's a 5th grader, so
Last year too?
yes.
Wow.
You were on the top team last year, weren't you?
Good for you for coming back.
Here's
You
a
know, and
really
starting.
important question.
Yes.
Good things happen to readers, just so you know. It's always good to
Absolutely.
read.
How did volleyball turn out today?
Oh, yeah. Volleyball?
They were yesterday.
That was yesterday.
Today was the 5th graders. Oh, it's still Sunday.
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Good.
Sorry.
All right, well, thank you very much for the presentation.
We have just a few celebrations to share with you. Our collective efficacy, our targeted literacy time, our intervention time.
So the last two, we were just talking about how when we had those data meetings, we came together and we looked at what students need, not just for some of our struggling readers, but some of our advanced readers too. And then we base that on what skills they're gonna work on in small groups with classroom teachers, title teachers, interventionists. So this is just some pictures of my first grade interventionist, or my first grade students in the functional phonics intervention. We do have it as a universal program, but now we're also using it as an intervention. So it's they're learning very similar things, so they're getting a double dip of what's happening in the classroom, just working more on the key components that they're missing from the universal.
And our interventions also include higher level readers too. So we are working toward pushing our higher level readers even higher. And we are also very proud of instilling the love of reading. This is a wall that was designed by one of our teachers for a graduate project. It's photos of many of our staff members as third graders with their favorite books that are shared with other third graders. And we are also proud of offering choice in reading materials in many different forms, including ebooks and books in our library. So thank you very much.
Now that we start getting the most exciting stuff out of the way, you guys want to take off now? Now is where it gets to the boring part.
Stay on my behalf.
Bye, Miley. Bye, Jack.
I assumed you had forgotten that the audit was tonight.
Sherry, that's not the type of Sherry, that's not the type of intervention you had planned for me, is it? Intervention. Oh yes, the ever exciting OE7.
Actually, we're
Are we on 6.1? Oh, yeah, we're OE7.
it's connected to
It's
OEs.
connected to that.
6.01, consideration of audit report OE7. Oh, it's not a performance.
No,
Okay.
that's just connected to our own.
Never mind, I'll just turn it over. She's our head. We'll start with Trowbridge.
Thank you, Mr. Check. Tonight we have part of our team from Whipley here tonight. Kyle Gruber is the senior manager. He's been the lead on our audit for a few years now at least. Josie Brost is with him as well. Josie's been instrumental in a lot of the field work that's taken place on our audit. Jessica Miller's also here. She's our accounting manager. You're gonna, I think, hear some pretty good things tonight, and most of that is around the good work that Jessica does, so. Kyle, if I may I turn it over to you?
Yeah, like he,
In my chair now.
like he said, why change this year? I was going through my notes, I could have just about carbon copied everything from last year and just rubber stamped it and said, here you go, this is what we talked about last year, we're done. You guys would probably love that. But as always, if you have any questions when I'm talking, just interrupt me, shout it out. And like Chad said, Jess and her team are great. A lot of activity flowing through this district, and they keep it very clean, and it helps us out immensely. Like you said, I brought Josie with. I think our team is typically 3 or 4, and I don't do that much anymore. Like most of us, as we get to that point, I just mostly do the review. And Josie and Dan are kind of the seniors involved, and they push us to the finish line. So I appreciate them very much as well. As far as the financial statements, for those of you that know me, I don't go into the numbers because that's what you got Chad for. He knows more about your budget and the general fund performance and all that stuff. So certainly I can be here for questions, but if you have questions about that stuff, always ask Chad. And we can talk offline if we need to, but he knows what's going on. So I'll just dive right into the financial statements. Page 1, as always, is the opinion. Just like last year, it's a clean opinion, unmodified, they call it. Means we had, I don't recall if we had any adjustments whatsoever, but if we did, it was very minimal, so nothing for you guys to worry about. The other opinion is on internal controls.
That's a little bit later in the statement, way down on page 80. But that one just addresses if the district weren't following policies or laws and regulations, things like that. We didn't come across anything for reporting in that particular report either, except for the usual financial reporting, which those of you that have been around know about. It's just that the district doesn't really have someone on staff to prepare GAAP basis financial statements, which is standard among 90 and 95% of districts in the state probably. I think auditors prepare the vast majority of them. I don't think we have any school districts, maybe, well, Madison, I think prepares their own. But they're the largest district in the state, so I would expect that probably. And she used to work for DPI, so. But I think that's about it. So nothing really to worry about. It's just something that we need to report, every year, because the controls are there or not there. And, if, God forbid, fraud or something were to come up, it just needs to be there. If you're flipping through the statements, we did have a new accounting standard this year, GASB 101. I've talked about it for a couple of years, related to compensated absences. Realistically, the way your district has it structured for sick and vacation, we didn't have to change a thing. The majority of it is it's paid out based on years of service and so on and so forth. So under the new standard, we actually didn't have to really change anything. Where it changed other districts is if those sick hours weren't paid out in the past, they now need to consider usage as a liability, which is crazy to me, but that's kind of beyond the point. So no new liabilities for you guys is the short part of that story. Total net position increased 1.1 million, about 400,000 of that was related to pension OPEB. Like I said, that was almost exactly the same as last year's financial statement. And I think the other 700,000 was maybe related to paying down debt or something like that. So really nothing crazy or out of the ordinary. Overall governmental fund balances decreased by 212,000. I think that was offset by maybe a 400,000 increase in the general fund. So all in all, it seemed like a pretty decent year as far as I could tell. Looking forward, no new standards for next year. There's a couple that are going to be implemented, but they won't affect your district in any way. So nothing to worry about there. The single audit, this year, the compliance supplement was delayed. It usually comes out in like June or July, or maybe even May. This year they were still sitting on it when the government shut down. And then until after the government shut down, I think it finally came out around Thanksgiving. So we haven't finalized your grant audit yet, your grant compliance audit. Chad has seen a draft of it. We had to split the report up this year. So we're gonna issue it probably in late December here. And there was no findings, no issues there. I think we tested child nutrition and Title I, and then state special ed and general equalization state. And across those programs, we had no compliance findings or anything really. No small findings or nothing, so. There will be no surprises when that one comes out. We were just waiting on the feds to get their stuff done so that we could have the tools we needed to finish up. As far as the management letter that you would have got a copy of, I think that's gonna be just about a carbon copy of last year's letter too, so, except that it identifies that we implemented GASB 101, but that's about the only change. That's all I've got. Unless you want to grill Josie on something.
How many hours does your firm put into putting this, I mean, for our individual school district, how many hours did your staff put together to generate this report?
I would say yours is probably, well, I haven't looked at it for a while. in my ideal world, I think around 300 hours.
This report. Jessica, how long does it take you to assimilate, how many hours do you put into this report?
40 hours a week.
The whole year?
5 million hours.
40 is probably.
I do it on my spare time. No, it takes up quite a bit, but everything you do, goes to it, so. Everything that we can prep for and,
It takes a lot of her time, but it takes a lot less of her time and our time because she's prepared, because her team is prepared. Because I still have districts that much smaller that I'm messing around with still because they're not done and they weren't ready. And I mean, not all of it's their fault either. Software changes, things like that, that just totally throw them off balance and stuff like that. So, but having things in order really, really helps.
One thing that I greatly value with this team is that we can meet and talk about things, but if we have either a new standard or something new that we're addressing, we can consult with them at any point in time. So we talk up front about how we might process it, so when we get to the audit, we're all on the same page and they're just verifying the work that we did. So I do greatly appreciate their insight and expertise when it comes to things that are new, and we lean on them heavily for that.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Board members have any questions? All right, thank you for the report. We need to, this is a roll call vote. I believe it would be to approve the audit report as presented. Is that what the language would be, Chad?
Yes.
To accept the, or
To approve the 2024-2025 audit report as presented.
I would motion to approve the 2024-2025 audit report as presented.
Motion by Olson, is there a second?
second.
Second by Martineau, any further discussion? Clerk, roll call, please.
Steve Wilson,
Aye.
Dave Martineau,
Aye.
Dennis Fear, Jerry Jasper, aye. Sharon McElwain, Peggy McKillop,
Aye.
and Dave Check.
Aye. All right, motion carries. Now,
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, and you can go.
Thank you guys.
Chad, you want to go with them?
No, he's got an OE, he's got it.
Oh,
all right, 7.01 is our 2.1A academic performance ELA. Members of the board have received the CEO's monitoring report on our 2.1A academic performance ELA. It is now the board's responsibility to consider the report as evidence of reasonable organizational progress in this area. Superintendent Holmes.
Yes, tonight we have Assistant Director Melissa Olson has helped develop this monitoring report for our review. At this time, I will ask her to provide an overview of the report.
Thank you so much. Tonight, I'm presenting on behalf of Mrs. Koppenbarger. I'm going to present our results monitoring report for our English language arts, and I'm recommending that you, and she recommends that you accept this report as demonstrating reasonable progress with noted exceptions. Before I walk you through this data, I want to provide an important context. Spring of 2024 marked the first administration of assessments aligned to the Wisconsin's new ELA standards, along with the new proficiency cut scores. This means we're treating 2024 as our baseline year, and our 2025 results represent our first true measure of growth under these new expectations. When we track cohorts of students, the same group of kids from one year to the next, we see really encouraging trends. Across English language arts, reading, and writing, the majority of our cohort groups have demonstrated growth from 24 to 25. Importantly, when we compare our cohort growth to the state, Chippewa Falls shows more points of improvement than Wisconsin overall. I'm particularly encouraged by the progress among historically underserved student groups. Our students with disabilities have improved from 13 14.3% to 15.6 proficient. And our non-white students on the forward exam have improved from 37.7 to 43.2. These gains matter. They reflect intentional work. Our strand level analysis reveals strength in our reading skills. Of 18 reading data points across grades 3 through 8, 13 have showed improvement or held steady. Our students are growing on vocabulary, key ideas in details, and craft and structure. Our third graders are now reading at about 51% proficiency, which exceeds that state average of 50.3. With Act 20 implementation, we're also seeing our universal reading screener data move in the right direction. High-risk percentages declined at every grade level from winter to spring, which tells us our early intervention is having an impact. We want to be transparent about the areas requiring continued focus. An overall proficiency rate on the forward dipped slightly from 53.8 to 52.4. Writing remains an area where we saw more declines than gains, and our 7th grade cohort did not show that growth that we had expected. You'll also notice declines in our K-3 Common Assessment proficiency rates. This is intentional. We raised the bar on what proficiency means as we implemented our new Science of Reading aligned curriculum. Short-term dips reflect increased rigor, not decreased learning. We've adopted a new K-3 foundational reading skills program, as you heard tonight, that is grounded in the Science of Reading research with a robust teacher training that has taken place and is still underway. And we're expanding our inclusionary practices to ensure that more students access high-quality core instruction. And every building has embedded ELA-focused goals within their school improvement plans. The evidence supports reasonable progress. We have a lot of work still to do and ahead of us, but we're certainly moving in the right direction. Mrs. Koppenberger and I recommend that you please accept this report.
At this time, I ask for the board's acceptance of the monitoring report.
Board members have any questions before making a motion as to accept the report as our own? Hearing none, would any board member like to make a motion?
So move.
Motion by Olson to accept the report in R 2.1A ELA. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Martineau. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Those R 2.1A ELA is now ours to discuss further, and using our results policy motion language, determine whether the district has made reasonable progress. Board members have any questions to determine or about the report to make that determination?
So just to clarify, Ms. Olson, so when I look at the end of the year proficiency percent and I see the red arrows going down, that is because you raised the bar on the testing.
Correct. And those are the dips that you're seeing. So yes, yes. The target got harder.
So you're having them hit a moving target is what you did.
Yes, we are.
All right, would any board member like to use our results policy motion language?
I move that the district is in compliance with noted exceptions on R 2.1A.
Am I looking at the wrong? I think it's our results policy motion, the reasonable progress.
On the wrong side, yeah. All right, well, let's do that again. I move that the district has made reasonable progress with noted exceptions on R 2.1A.
All right, motion by Jasper. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Martineau. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The board finds that reasonable progress has been made with noted exceptions in R 2.1A academic performance, LA. Thank you for your presentation. Next, we go on to 7, financial administration, and that is the other side. Members of the board have received the CEO's monitoring report on OE7, financial administration. It is now the board's responsibility to consider the report as evidence of compliance in this area. Superintendent Holmes.
Yes, Director of Financial Services, Mr. Chad Trowbridge, has developed this monitoring report for our review. At this time, I will ask him to provide an overview of the report.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. One unique thing about OE7 is, because we just heard the audit tonight, you'll see a lot of reference in here to the 2023-24 audit, so it just kind of cycles through over the next year. But there are 13 indicators in OE7, and essentially this makes sure that we're transparent, we operate and do things fiscally that the board has approved, and we're following through on all of those. So I'll just do a flyover of the indicators. OE 7.1 is assuring that all of our payroll and legitimate debts are promptly paid. OE 7.2, making sure that our purchasing is based on similar value, including consideration of both cost and long-term quality. OE 7.3 is to utilize a competitive bidding procedure for all transactions in excess of $50,000. OE 7.4 is to make sure that we're cooperating with the board's appointed financial auditor. I think we just heard a pretty good report about that. OE 7.5, making sure that all reasonable efforts are made to collect any funds that are due to the district from any particular source. OE 7.6 is making sure that we're keeping accurate and complete financial records in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, or DAP is an acronym that is commonly referred to. OE 7.7 is to annually publish a financial condition statement. We do that as part of our annual budget report process. OE 7.8, making sure that we receive, process, or disperse funds under those same GAAP rules. OE 7.9 is to make sure that the superintendent or any of us do not indebt the organization without your approval. OE 7.10, making sure that we do not expend money from reserve funds unless we are authorized to do that. OE 7.11 is to not permanently transfer money from one fund to another unless a supermajority of the board has authorized that. OE 7.12, making sure that we do not allow any required reports to be overdue or inaccurately filed. You would have heard about that in the audit, if that was occurring here. And OE 7.13, the final indicator, is if we would fail to correct any negative findings in the audit, or we didn't let you know that there were some negative findings or corrective actions in that audit. So from a summary standpoint, overall, I think financially, the past year has been very good. We've made sure that all of our obligations have been received and paid. All of our filings were done on time and filed, and again, there were no filings for the prior year or the current year that you were reviewing. One thing that we like to do is always just take a look at our process. We don't want to have negative audit findings, so kind of that process I talked about before about just kind of pre-game planning any sort of changes. We want to make sure that we continue to be compliant. With the caveat, always seems to be speculative about what affects future state budgets, or certainly this year we had a lot of federal pressure to identify some potential change, but making sure that we're analyzing those to make sure that we're meeting our future financial obligations and that our financial statements reflect that.
Thank you, Mr. Trowbridge. At this time, I ask for the board's acceptance of the monitoring report.
Board members have any questions before we accept this report or make a motion to accept this report as our own?
So move.
Motion by Olson to accept OE7. Financial Administration as our own report to discuss further. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Martineau. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. OE7 is now ours to discuss further. Board members have any particular questions for Mr. Trowbridge regarding the report? Hearing none, would anybody like to make a motion that the district is in compliance with OE7 Financial Administration?
I move that the district is in compliance with OE7.
Motion by Martineau. Second?
I'd like to second that, please.
Second by Olson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The board has found the district in compliance with OE7 Financial Administration. Now, I'm gonna back up a second because I skipped 7.02 and we're gonna have to do 8.02, which is now after these reports, we review our indicators right away. So Melissa, back on the hook for a little while.
All right.
7.02 is review of board policy 2.11A academic performance and discussion of potential indicator revisions. Board members can click to take a look at the actual policy. Any questions, any suggestions that anyone can think of to make changes for indicators for next year? Or are we good to go on this report?
What do you think? I mean, have you guys?
Yeah,
thinking about
Katie and I have talked about this one extensively because we don't love our data. It's not something that we're gonna, but we also know how far we've come and the foundation that we've put into it, and the work, and I think she did a really nice job of highlighting where we have been putting our eggs in our basket, and we are starting to see some of that growth happen in with our students with disabilities for sure, and then our students of color is another area that we are looking, and those we are seeing those shifts. I actually was just out at Stilson today, working, sitting in on their data meetings and listening to the teachers, the level of technical discussion that they're having around data and their teaching strategies of what they're doing, and seeing like what Mrs. Alexander talked about with functional phonics and morphology. Like it's high level that they're talking and they're leading that. It's not just somebody coming in and saying this is what you need to do. They're not satisfied with their data either. So whatever recommendations you might have, we would accept them, but know that we are probably harder on ourselves right now than I think.
Are you comfortable with the indicators that you guys are using? Or are there some things that, you know, that are now maybe being used but aren't indicators that would help us?
That's a great question. Because both Katie and I are new to these, she's sitting in the chair, I would ask that if we could make some recommendations for the next year. Is that how it would work?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we were able to.
My suggestion, based on what I currently know that's going on with Act 20, in the things that have been implemented, and you correct me if I'm wrong, if I misstate something, but I don't necessarily think the report needs to be changed at this juncture. I do think that Melissa and Katie will definitely need to monitor what's going to be kicked back from the state before any changes are made.
Yes. So like another example, like I feel like we have lagging data as well. So the big early, the Act 20, the first report just came out just a couple of weeks ago. Well, and it shows that our first graders are reading below the what's expected. So it kind of had a negative connotation about but that was the spring data for the whole state. And we're already looking at we'd already looked at our fall, analyzed that, and now we just did our winter data, and they changed, the state adjusted the bar from the spring. So it's like we're not even, like, the things that are getting reported right now out into the public aren't the numbers that we're even looking at anymore. We're using fresher numbers that are adjusted. So that's the hard, like, it's always a moving target. our kids are learning, I can tell you that, and they're doing some high-level things. Another thing that if you have a chance to take a look at that progression of writing of what a kindergartner can do, looking at the first grade, looking at the explosion that happens between second and third grade, it's that you would not have seen that. I've been with the district 11 years ago. You would never have seen that go. So the amount of progress that we've made in terms of that, I would hope that would be we focus on that.
So when Parkview was showing their increase in the kindergartners from the start of the year, but basically a lot of it is these kids are just starting out as a sponge and so there should be significant increases because as at the different grade levels, they're just exploding with knowledge is grabbing us quick.
And because we're so aligned with, the kindergartners are using the same language that, all the way on up, in reading and in math. You hear that same vocabulary, so there's not, any confusion on what we're asking, because we teach it at such a, early level.
Excellent. Board members have any other questions or comments? All right, we will continue to monitor that. We have another report coming up in January, so we can discuss it then as well.
Sounds good.
Skipping to 802 then is review of board policy OE7 financial administration and discussion of potential indicator revisions.
I do not have any suggested changes. We did check this for alignment with the board policy around financial administration. We did consolidate a couple of indicators just to try to tidy up the report just a little bit, but I don't have any suggested changes. As board members do.
Board members have any questions or comments?
Still thank you for giving me a 3-year thing on your reports because it just tells me if I need to further into something, if there's a drastic change. I know there's fluctuations, but it does help me out, so thank you for that.
Great suggestion, appreciate it.
Not a lot of wiggle room for you, though. We don't like to see this one being in compliance with noted exceptions.
I wouldn't feel good about that either.
All right. All right, so that's the end of 8.2. We'll move on to 9.01. The board's consent agenda. Is any board member requesting removal for separate consideration any part of the consent agenda for the board?
And I knew that.
Hearing none, I would look for a motion to approve the board's consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Jasper, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Martineau, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The board's consent agenda is approved as presented. Next is the superintendent's consent agenda. Would any board member like to remove for separate consideration any portion of the superintendent's consent agenda? Hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve the superintendent's consent agenda as presented.
So move.
Motion by Olson, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Martineau, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The board's, the superintendent's consent agenda is approved as presented. Next is matters reserved for board action. Under 11.01, there are no items that were removed from the board's consent agenda. 11.02, no items were removed from the superintendent's consent agenda. 11.03, consideration of the 2026 proposed WASB resolutions, GC-5. And that is going to be Sherry Jasper.
Highlight of my year.
It's because you gratefully allowed me to do it instead of continuing to do it, right?
It's close enough.
Yes. All right, well, those of you who have been around, remember, we used to go through every one of these and vote, and Kathy was doing this. So, we're not doing that. But we have this amazing administrative team who understands the workings and what's going on behind these resolutions. So you did get their opinions to us, their recommendations to us about what is helpful to our district and our kids and what might be problematic. So resolutions 1, 4, and 10 came with strong support, that we support them at our January Wisconsin Association of School Boards Conference. The bulk of them, numbers 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, and 12, came with support. So things that, you know, again, will fit with what we already do in our district. Number 2 and number 7 were could support. And, you know, I appreciate that because I think the idea that is given to us is there's good intent, but there might be some details and there might be some problems that come if they are adopted. And so just, you know, take a peek at those. And then the last one, number 11, is actually the opposite of number 10. And so number 10 was a strong support and number 11 was an oppose. And Chad, I kind of asked you ahead of time, is that one that you can just talk about a little bit more?
There's such an entanglement with vouchers in the state funding system right now that there are pros and cons to leaving it as it is and decoupling. And it really is hard to predict exactly what would happen for Chippewa Falls in either scenario. WASBO actually did a pretty deep study on this, and it's not win-win for everybody. So the disadvantage to having it being coupled with state funding is that it comes out of our state aid pot. The pro to that is that there's still a little bit of control of that pot at the state level. So decoupling that would create there's support for creating a separate funding source, but also any sort of control over the system would go away at that same time. So there's nuances either way. Jeff and I talked about this at pretty great length, but
We actually did a deeper dive for you, what provided for you in that regard before you go to the convention. You know, for us, based on our conversations, you know, when we looked at it, to this point, it is no win in many instances. The reasoning behind our recommendation on number 10 being strongly in support of it was because of upcoming likely immediate needs. You know, personally, you know, if things weren't as they are right now, it would be one where I would ask WASB members to, you know, seriously consider rethinking their approach. You know, I understand the argument for decoupling, and I understand the argument for not decoupling, and I think there are a lot of nuances and facets of that particular problem that need greater research, for lack of a better word. But knowing what I do know about our current situation, the reason I can get behind number 10 is because that in likelihood, if it was decoupled, it would benefit the district certainly for the short term.
So you had said that one of the reasons you didn't want it, or disadvantages, was because there would be no oversight on those particular funds. Why can't the state legislature put the oversight into those funds like they do any other fund?
they would have oversight.
Okay.
To what level is?
Yeah, okay, well. I walked into that one, didn't I?
Well, we don't have oversight on that right now anyway, do we? I mean, we may be
It's
coupled with,
administered by DPI.
Yeah.
but not any
As a
local.
district, we do not.
Right.
No, but decoupling would make it separate, two systems.
Correct.
And that, to me, is appealing, but if there's no oversight on one fund, I could definitely see why people would be very tentative about it.
It's the fear of the future, I guess.
Wouldn't it just spread it across the state? So I mean, to take some of the funding from the state, do it that way instead of like our district is being punished for how many we have that go to private schools?
It's a amount per student, and if it's decoupled, then it's separate legislation, separate action, separate.
So if they wanted to increase or decrease the vouchers for each kid and it was a separate account, then it wouldn't affect us. But if it is coupled with our accounts, so to speak, then it would be money that would be coming out of our pot. But if there's no oversight again.
So in all the years, I've only done this for 8 years, you've done it a lot longer. Has one of these resolutions ever made it to law?
Well, I can't say for certain. There have been very few, but it does help WASB prioritize their lobbying efforts. So I do think that a lot of things have been born out of this process, and a lot of good debate has happened out of this process, but essentially it takes a lot
Adjustments to things.
of suggestions and helps pare them down as to things they do want.
I do see, like, in the past, we've had 25 of these, now we're down to 12 at least, where it just isn't just mind-boggling.
I mean, it's interesting, you know, well, okay, I find it interesting, Mr. Olson probably doesn't. You know, but if you go into where the resolutions come from, and you either know a little bit about different school districts, or you can get into it, you can understand more. And
Right.
that's why it's so important that we get input from our administration into how
No,
any
I-
of these
I-
impact Chippewa.
If it has value, but like I said,
Yeah.
it's hard to see a tangible outcome on some of this stuff.
I should probably read to the board one of the statements that you'll get ahead in regard to this particular topic. Given CFAUSD's immediate fiscal pressures and the approaching referendum expiration, the stability arguments in Resolution 2610 are both compelling. Decoupling would protect our equalization aid from reductions outside our control and improve budget predictability for levy planning. However, the concerns raised by Resolutions 2611 proponents, particularly the fiscal sustainability warnings from Florida and Arizona, merit serious consideration. If decoupling accelerates voucher program growth and constrains future state education funding, the long-term impact could offset short-term gains. That's the trade-off that you have to think about in terms of advocating for one over the other. And you may wish to consider whether supporting Resolution 2610 should be paired with continued advocacy for accountability requirements on all publicly funded schools, as addressed in Resolution 2609 regarding early childhood programs and existing WASB resolutions on voucher accountability. Even with all that in mind, I still think in the best interest of the district, certainly in the short term, over the next few years, decoupling would be in our best interest. Yeah, better interest.
So unless any board members have any other particular questions, I think the recommended action would be to support the recommendations made by our district in full and mimic those in our support. Would anybody like to make such a motion?
So moved.
Motion by McKillop, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Olson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Our WASB delegate is directed to take our vote and using the recommendation of the district. All right. Thank you, Jerry, for your work.
Thank you to the administration.
Next is consideration of 2020, it's not, I'm highlighting my consideration of ad hoc committee for student code of conduct policy review pursuant to OE 12. And that will be Superintendent Holmes and Ms. McMasters.
Thank you. Under Policy 5500, the board is required to review the student code of classroom conduct every 3 years through a committee comprising parents, students, board members, administrators, teachers, student services professionals, and community residents. Establishing this ad hoc committee now will allow for meaningful stakeholder engagement and enable the committee to present recommendations before the end of the 2025-26 school year. This review will ensure our code of conduct reflects current best practices in student behavior management, aligns with our mandatory threat reporting procedures, and addresses contemporary issues including student conduct on social media. Ms. McMasters and I ask that the board accept the recommendation as stated in the board's packet.
Board members have any questions?
How do you determine the community members?
In your board packet, we had established what that would look like, and we would reach out and ask for volunteers.
So for now, the recommended action is to approve the formation of an ad hoc committee to comprehensively review and update the student code of classroom conduct as outlined in policy 5,500 as presented. Keep that language in mind if you make a motion. And then we can discuss further after that if we choose to do so, the process to go through with that.
I make a motion to approve formation of an ad hoc committee to comprehensively review and update the student code of classroom conduct as outlined in policy 5500 as presented.
Motion by Martineau, is there a second?
We missed Mr. Fear tonight, so I will second that.
Second by Olson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. The board has approved the formation. Now, procedurally, what do we do next? Where does this go in terms of how it gets formed? So that's in our packet,
It is.
and that's what under the
Yep.
student code of conduct. We got a timeline, right? Committee appointment, January 2026. Board approved the formation of this ad hoc committee with the following timeline. So, how does this work? We first appoint the board members of the committee, and then they work on putting the rest of this together?
Well, no, you need to pick, I would say, 2 board members to put on the ad hoc committee, and then we'll take care of the rest.
Okay. All right, well, what we'll do then is, board members, usually what I'd like to do is you can submit to me, we don't have to do that tonight, right? We can do that. Submit it to me, we'll have a pick by no later than our next meeting, but if everyone just submits to me whether they're interested in being on this committee or not, then we will pick 1 or 2 board members at the latest next board meeting, and you guys will have your recommendations ready in the January meeting as well.
Start getting all those things together.
We send information to Sharon. Okay.
Chris, is it on your checklist?
Yes, it is now.
She's been looking forward to this in reckless anticipation.
All right, 11.05, consideration of the 2025-2028 library plan. I was wondering why you guys were sticking around, because all of this is so interesting,
I
right?
said I'd take one for the team since I had to be here anyway.
All right.
He too is now retiring, so ask her up.
All right, well, who is going to present on this? Ms. Koppenberger is listed for us and not here.
Go, Dawn, go.
I can.
Please, please.
No, I just got notes about the calendar. That's all. That's my one.
I
So
can kick it off for you.
go ahead.
All right. Ms. Koppenbarger approached me with the updated library plan. Actually, all of the library media specialists got together and worked through all the nuances of it. They did provide it to us in a timely manner. Admin and others did have an opportunity to go through it. I feel like that the library media specialists have done a fantastic job. It is in the format of the previous library plan, and adjustments were made based on modernization of those things that they're seeing in their roles as library media specialists. Not a whole lot has changed in it, and I would look to Ms. Totsky to explain about the things that did change, but I would tell you based on my experiences with library plans over the last 20 years as administrators. They've done a fantastic job with the library plan, and I do believe it's ready for the board to accept. Is there anything you would like to add?
I will pass your thanks along. We did work long and hard on it. Some of the minor changes were the pillar structure for the district changed. So then looking at where do the future-ready items fit with the new pillars. And so that was a lot of what the tweaking was, and like you mentioned, just updating with some of the things that have changed since the last plan was put in place. We looked at other contemporaries and compared, and I think, like you, it looks good.
Very thorough plan. Board members have any particular questions with anything in the plan?
Well, I guess I have a question for Chad. When I look at the budgeted money, you know, it looks like it grows from 2021, it was 275, now this year's 479. Is that a separate line item, or we're growing the program in such a manner that it requires more funding?
So it actually is money that is generated from the state trust fund loan program, and it has to be used for public schools and public libraries. So we plan around what we think that amount might be. It actually doesn't get determined until later in the fiscal year, but we have to spend it in the library area. So it's been a nice thing for us in terms of being able to replace resources and make updates, but it's pretty restrictive. Most of it's around both in print and digital library media materials. So it isn't that you can't go build a building, or that you can go build a building with it, or make changes to things outside of the library. So I think it really gives the LMC folks a lot of flexibility in terms of what their library needs for
So do
resources.
they announce every year what you're going to get, and then they put the cost of living on there, or how do you budget?
Based on the interest earned from the state trust fund loan program, so we don't find that
Some
number
years are
out.
better than others.
We don't know until May of the
Okay.
current fiscal year.
So
So
if you-
usually we get a little behind and we gotta catch up, but
If you look up Common School Fund, it's actually something that was written into our Constitution when it was first made in the state to provide for the common schools. And so that's always been the money that goes to libraries. The librarians don't actually ask for anything out of the district budget, except, pencils and consumables and furniture. That provides all of the resources that we provide to kids. So that money is kind of flow through, like you said, from the interest on that fund.
All right, board members, unless there are other questions, the recommended action is to approve the 2025-2028 library plan as presented. Motion by Jasper, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Martineau, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The board approves the 2025-2028 library plan as presented. Thank you. All right, communication with the board. 12.01 is early compensation study findings, certified staff schedule C and substitutes, OE5, Ms. Denura.
Thank you. So tonight, my purpose is just to let you know where we are in our work with our certified staff compensation. I will be using this to change that, but using my arrows on my screen to change my note. So I'm sorry if I get confused. Just a reminder of our process, new this year for the first implementation with the certified group. A reminder of our comparables. The mission of us as a group who has set out to do this work together. Again, this group was volunteer-based certified staff. Communications went out to all certified staff, inviting them if they would like to be a part. And we have a group of, I believe there are about 12 certified staff members that are working through this process with myself and the team. These are the core values that you verified you wanted us to uphold. And so right now we're in December, currently getting feedback on job descriptions that our reps are seeking, and also our administrators, as well as any recommendations for review of handbook. Looking to update our Schedule C amounts. As you remember, or may remember, we did do some adjustments to Schedule C last year. And so we're just verifying that we're still in the comparables and if any changes happened in our comparable districts last year. We are also discussing the stipend amounts for additional learning such as master's degrees at national boards. I think we're coming closer to an agreement on those. The biggest challenge right now is migrating staff from our old staff compensation schedule, which is 11 steps with 3 sub-steps per step, into a new model that will uphold our new process. And so we're doing a lot of consideration of different ways that we can make that work happen that serves all of our certified staff to the best of our abilities within our financial means. But there are definitely some challenges that we're facing. Mr. Trowbridge had the opportunity to meet us at 7:15 on Monday, along with 2 certified staff members who have very high-level spreadsheet skills that are using not any personal information of our staff members, but just the numbers and helping us to run those, and then sharing those with Mr. Trowbridge, and then verifying those within our department as well, and seem to be on track with all of the different, well, the top 3 different considerations, or top 3 different options, I guess, that we're looking at for certified staff to be within our budget at this time. And we'll get those to you in January. Our larger committee did get to meet earlier tonight before this meeting, and they asked that I do share that they appreciate being included in the conversation and having their perspectives and feedback heard. Last month, there was a request to have a better understanding of the total annual compensation. So I have this provided for you, and just wanted to explain a couple things. I know you have the slides, but as a reminder, we have 2 different certified groups. We have those hired before 2009 who have different post-retirement benefit or post-employment benefits, and then we have those hired pre-2009, and they have different post-employment benefits. So what I shared with you is what our annual compensation is, and right now we have 31 staff members at this current level in our current system, and they are only people hired after 2009. And so you can see what the total compensation is for somebody who is at base at $43,000 and gets a family plan for insurance if they take our insurance. If they don't take our insurance, subtract that out, and then also what it looks like for the single plan. The next one that I chose to include is level 5, so that's years of service 12, 13, 14. There's 52 total staff members in this group, and they also are only post 2009. Then I chose level 6, which is years 15, 16, and 17. Again, 52 total staff members. 13 of them are the pre-2009, which is why you have this slide, and the other 39 are the post-2009. And then level 11 is the top of our scale, and we currently have 10 certified staff members who are at the top of our scale, all of them being hired pre-2009. Again, why there's only one slide for that total annual compensation. And
Sarah, what's the years of experience on that?
30, 31, and 32. I did share, I guess I forgot, the post-2009 hire if we weren't to change our compensation scale, what it would be if somebody was post-2009 right now at level 11, just for comparison's sake. So coming in January, we'll have our initial cost outs for you for overall certified staff, Schedule C impact, and then our certified substitutes. And so I'm here to take any questions and answer them tonight if I can, or get more information and report back to you regarding certified staff compensation.
So this new structure that we're orienting to, are the other districts, are we aligning ourselves with the other districts by doing this, or they are still the STEP programs?
We are getting our base to be more competitive starting for next year. And what we are still concerned about is that our base is still not gonna change for 3 years, and we don't, have another increase, like, so another district has a step system, and on top of that step system, they also have a percentage or CPI increase, in addition to that, so that keeps them, potentially more competitive with the comparables. We're not set up that way, and not all districts in our comparables are set up that way. Others give a flat rate of increase each year, based off of where they were initially placed. So we all do it slightly different, so it's not that we're the only ones who are different, I guess, out of the comparables.
I mean, the wild card on this is the healthcare cost.
Yes, and I would say that we continue to offer post-employment benefits regarding healthcare, and other districts don't necessarily offer that, or don't offer it in the same way or to the same level that we do. Also, our cost for health insurance, we have not raised our premiums in over, I think it's over 10.
5% in 10 years, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So that's another piece that makes us different in our cost because of our on-site clinic and because of all the work that our employees do to seek medical care that they need, but at a reduced cost, because we've worked to educate them to be the best consumers of healthcare that we can. So that makes us a little bit different as well.
Board members have any additional questions? Thank you, Ms. Deneur. And what is the next step in this report then for you?
The next step in this report for me is to continue to work with our team to get the cost outs ready for you for January. So you'll actually have some dollar amounts to look at.
Excellent. All right, thank you. 12.03, discussion of board activities. I see that,
You still got budget and timeline.
oh boy.
You want to be done, don't you?
Wow. Somebody keeps, I'm not in charge of where this is highlighted.
Still wish those kids would have asked you some math questions.
Yeah, this is a math question.
It's a year ahead.
Staffing and budget timeline.
Challenged one the last board meeting.
The kid asked me a division problem, but it turned out, in my head, and it turned out the answer was like 6.7259. He didn't even know the answer. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, it's gotta be divisible if he's asking.
You said it with such confidence.
Okay,
I'm really
And then-
good at math.
I might have hit a sore spot.
And then I
That's on
knew,
me.
I thought he was playing with it because I'm like, it's 6 or 7. Which was correct, it was 6.7.
Good lawyer never.
Did you use your factorization?
That's a very good point. Okay, staffing and budget timeline, OE5, OE6, Ms. Deneur and Mr. Trowbridge.
All right, so Mr. Trowbridge and I just put together an outline for what our plan is moving into the budget and staffing timeline this spring. That also plays into some of that certified staff compensation I just shared with you, because you'll see that we'll give you updates throughout leading up to the April budget approval. Not many changes from last year in dates or anything. A lot of the dates are tied to state statute for reporting for the staffing purposes. What else would you like to add, Mr. Trowbridge?
I would not like to add anything. Other than I enjoy this collaboration between our two departments. It is, I think we found a timeline recipe that kind of works for our district, keeps the board on track, keeps us hiring the best and the brightest people at the right times, and I appreciate the work that our staff puts into this.
Board members have questions? All right, thank you both for your presentation. Now, 12.03, discussion of board activities. List here. December 16th, board learning walk in Hillcrest Elementary. Who was at that?
Want to guess?
Well, Mr. Olson, I mean, this is like your exercise for the month, is the learning walk. Like, how many miles did you walk today?
Well, it's long hauls, as was pointed out to us. I did get to see Mr. Martineau's daughter-in-law in action, so that was good. And it was these are always good. We had a large group of visitors, people from the community, which was excellent. We had our state senator from Eau Claire was here. And it was a chance to kind of, I made a couple plugs in there in operational referendums and funding, which is also a good thing. So it was great. For board members, it's important for us to participate because it's a reminder for us that who we're working for. And we get to see staff and more importantly, the kids doing what they're doing and then reminding us that this is why we're doing this. So that's why it was important.
Excellent. And although we give you a hard time, thank you for representing us there.
It was the Three Amigos again.
Typical Three Amigos. Anything to add?
Sweater day, it was sweater day, I had to go.
Sweater.
Sweater day.
Sweater day.
Okay.
That was great.
All right.
My daughter.
It's always good to see the kids in sweater.
Ornaments on it.
All right, excellent. And 13.01, discussion of the meeting itself today. Board members have any questions or comments? Everybody have a equal opportunity to present and be heard. We're actually doing pretty good for timing today, so now's the time.
And to make
Are our
motions.
meetings going okay? Doing good? Okay.
It went well because.
These are our
Mr.
indicators,
Olson,
right?
Motions and seconds.
Okay. Future agenda items and upcoming events. December 26th at 5 o'clock is the deadline for candidates to file declaration of non-candidacy. January 6th at 5 o'clock is the deadline for school board election candidate paperwork. There are 2 seats for the spring election. January 12th is the drawing of lots for the ballot order. January 13th is the Chippewa Chamber Annual Meeting. Registration is required. Right now, Sherry, Peggy, and myself are attending. January 21st and 23rd, Wisconsin State Education Convention at the Barrett Center in Milwaukee. Registration is required. Right now, Sherry, Peggy, and Dennis are attending. January 27th is our regular board meeting. And January 29th from 4 to 8 is the CFAUSD Staff Holiday and Years of Service Recognition Gathering. Please RSVP using the Google form that was emailed to you, and that is at the view. Any other items that a board member would like to mention that are coming up in the next month that we didn't mention? All right, other than Christmas. Okay. Looks like that's it. We need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Martineau, is there a second?
Mr. Check, I'd like to second that.
Second by Olson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?